Hello everyone, this is Clock for Game. I thought I'd bring you something a little bit different this video. I usually upload things that are quite fun, that I'm just kind of memeing around with and mucking around with and having fun with. But I thought I'd bring you an actual meta deck today that I've been playing and I've been working on. With the sleeves and the mat, there's no prizes to guess which deck this is. Itsuki is my favourite Quint and one of my favourite anime characters of all time. And I am having a real good time playing the deck of her as well. So this deck is not what's the word for it? This deck is not like the other lists that you may see. It's not strictly meta, as this runs a level 2 combo instead of the Budding Trust level 1 combo. But without further ado, let's get into the deck. So we're just running 2 Climax Swappers, 2 of the Ichika Climax Swappers, and 1 of the Itsuki Drop Search. We're running this beat stick, which is one of the promos, and it's reveal top card of your deck when it's played. If it's a character, put it underneath this as a marker, it becomes 4K. This is just a nice beat stick. These are the set 1 level 0 killers. These are very handy, especially against things like Hololive or other decks that require some setup at level 0. You can start to get rid of their stuff quite early on and deny them some sort of advantage. Also, when this dies, you can ditch a card and look at top 4 and add a... look at top 4 cards and add 1 level 1 or higher character. This is, if any of you have ever played the Data Live decks, you'll know that there's the Trial Deck Toker. This is essentially the Trial Deck Toker. When it's played, reveal top card. If it is a character, add it to hand, and then you can ditch 1 as well. And then the second effect is ditch 1, draw 1. So run 3 of these. This is really nice for hand filter and just getting through your deck a little bit. A lot of the Itsuki cards work on acts. So quite a few of the cards and some cards in this deck as well, but more so in the Budding Trust level 1 combo. A lot of the cards have, if you have used an act this turn, while this is on the field, do something else. This is one of those cards where it gains a soul if an act is used. And it's also a Ricky as well, that you clock 1, pay 1, and search out a character. Very, very, very handy, I think. So run 4 of those, because you want your combo pieces. This relies quite heavily, especially in the late game, about having the level 3 combo out. And also these 2 cards here. You want 1 of these each. These 2 cards, so this, I'll start with this. This is the Brainstorm. She's also a 500 assist. She also gives you +1 to your hand size. And you want to couple her on your back row with this card, which is also +1 hand size. Tap it, pay 1, give a character on reverse salvage, and tap it to give something 2000 power. Now you want these 2 cards out, especially towards your level 2, if not earlier, just because it allows you to have that big hand size for your finisher, because your finisher is quite hand intensive. Moving on to the level 1s, I don't run the level 1 combo, but I do run some other different things that I'm trying out. So this is just your nice general beat stick. This is one of my tech cards, and if you've seen some of my previous videos, you'll know that I do indeed like my tech cards. So the whole idea for this, or this deck and this card in particular, is that you want to keep your level 2 alive, because that's where the climax combo comes in. What I'm wanting to do with this deck is keep that card alive and make sure I can keep generating some advantage from it. And what this is essentially, you drop it, it doesn't give power, but it does save something and allows it to come back to the board when it's killed, which is very, very handy. And then some cards that I am testing out. These cards, I just really like them for the search the search options and for the utility options. This grabs something from waiting room. So the idea with this card is you play it, you tap it, you give something 1,000 power, that counts as an act. You might have some other cards that do things with acts, especially in the level 1 build. And then you can kill it and ditch a card to grab another card back into waiting room. So if you're missing that level 3 piece, you know, your third level 3 combo, or you're missing something that you really need, you can have this card, and it's a 1/0 as well. It doesn't cost really any stock. Same with this one. I'm giving this a test out. I might run a third one of this instead if I don't like it. But this is a level 1 killer, and it also allows you to search your deck for a quintuplets character. Again, add your combo pieces and things if you don't have them in hand. So, on to the level 2 and the accompanying climax. So this card is a level 2 early play. If you've got 4 or more characters, it gets -1 level in hand. If you've got 3 or more experience in your level, and by the way, this is a main point of this deck, especially for the level 3 combo, you want to make sure that you've got level 3s in your level. So getting a level 3 to hand and maybe keeping one early game to clock it to make sure you've got that level 3 experience will help you out a lot. But yes, if your experience is level 3 or higher, she gains 4,000 power, so she becomes a 9k level 1, which is quite nice to have. Climax combo is on Encore Step, you can kill the climax, look at top 4 cards of deck, add any of this backup to hand, this backup here, or characters to hand. Very, very handy. The reason why I'm running this level 2 instead of the level 1 is in the level 1 build, I found that you had to get multiple level 1s off. You had to do that. Which is okay, but if your level 1s get killed, or you're not, you're just having an unlucky game and you don't end up having them to hand, or you know, they're kicked to memory or something like that, if you don't get those level 1s off, you starve quite a lot, especially in the later game. And I found this card just to be a little bit more consistent. It still grabs your characters, it still grabs your backups, which is really, really nice. And I'm liking this card a lot more. And the idea of this deck primarily is to protect this card, essentially. So you try and get it out as early as you can at level 1. Try and generate as much hand advantage as you can with your back rows, giving you a 9 card hand limit. And then trying to keep her alive for a while so you can get a lot of use out of her. Because at level 1, you're probably not getting a 9k that's going to be able to run over this, unless your opponent really funnels a lot of resources. And then just finish off the level 2, it's the Neg Soul Ichika backup. It's nice just for a 2.5k backup, but also the Neg Soul is extremely nice as well, especially in the late game where that 1 or 2 damage less can make the whole difference. Anyway, so we'll just put those up there. And then on to the level 3s. So before I explain the level 3 combo itself and the accompanying climax, which is there, I'll just explain my choices for some of the other early plays. So with these, this is an early play and healer. All these are early play healers, so I run 4 of these, and I run just an Ichika for the extra burn 1, because sometimes that burn 1 is really, really nice to kind of rip a card off the top of the opponent's deck and put it into the clock, or getting rid of that 1 climax that's sitting nice and cozy on top of your opponent's deck. You don't mind if the burn 1 cancels, and it allows your other combo pieces or attacks to maybe go off, hopefully a little bit smoother. I used to run a lot more of this. I used to run a 2-2 split of these, but I've decided to go for 1 now because I don't run any greens in my top end anymore, so it's not as important. Thing to be careful of is this early play does require 2 or less climaxes in the waiting room. Sorry, that's this one. This one is 2 or less climaxes, but this one is 4 or more characters, so you do have to have a full board, or 4 characters, should I say, not a full board. There is a mandatory effect to this to be aware of one of your opponent's characters can't become reversed. Just make sure you don't get rule sharped by that and remember to actually activate the effect. This is the other early plays. This is the 2 or less climaxes in waiting room. It's just a healer. It's quite nice. And oh yes, I always forget about the last effect, which is 1 second. It gives power as well, which is nice. I always forget to give the power. I don't know why. It's just one of those cards I always forget to do the effect of. And if you've got the spare resources, which resource-wise and stock-wise, this deck isn't massively heavy on it. It's more of your hand that it needs. So yeah, just burn 1, and that's it. It also gains a soul as well, but it's primarily there just for that ping 1, and sometimes that can make all the difference. So here is the last but not least, the climax combo and the accompanying climax as well. Gosh, I wish I had these in OFR. That'd be real nice. If someone wants to give them me for free, that'd be great. I'll buy you a pint for it. Jokes aside, moving on to the actual effects. Not particularly stock heavy as the finisher effects don't use stock. Again, it uses hand. This is why these cards here, sitting on your back row, are so important. When this card is played, you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck and add any card. So it digs for its own climax, essentially, which is very nice. Sometimes you do get situations where you've got triple combo in hand, you've got plenty of stock, but don't have the climax. It's nice to be able to dig for the climax, and it's also the reason why I run 2 climax swappers as well. The amount of games that I've had where my climax swapper gets stuck in my clock or stuck in my stock, and I need it for the late game, it's nice just to run that second climax swapper, especially if you're unlucky and don't get the climax off of the top effect. But the bottom effect is what makes this card really scary. I have lost so many times to people at my locals. One person in particular, one of my friends who was borrowing my Itsuki deck for a while while I was playing other things. The thing that this deck is really good at doing is having an incredibly explosive top end where she just seems to kill you from 2-2 or 2-3. I've had that more times than I'd like to care to admit, sorry. And it's on attack, ditch 3 cards, burn 3, look at the top 2 cards of your opponent, then look at the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck and ditch any cards that you want and put the cards back in any order. On top of that, you've got the attack as well. She also gains 1500 as well if she looks at top 3. But that burn 3, check top 2, if you can get that off multiple times, it essentially guarantees that the attack at least is going to stick. And Itsuki is very good at just explosive damage. And she can take people by surprise. And I think that's why it's been so, or at least creeping up in the rankings in the teams tournaments. Because I think Itsuki's biggest strengths, that's the word I'm looking for, the biggest strength of Itsuki is that she is very consistent and she's very explosive, and she can take people by surprise. The amount of games where I have made the mistake of rushing my opponent who's playing Itsuki to level 3, and I'm almost an entire level behind, sat at 2-1, 2-2, 2-3. I will rush my opponent to level 3, he then triple combos me and blows me off the board. I will be trying to come up with a combo video when I get a chance, because I think this deck there's a lot of moving parts to this deck, but once you get the hang of it, it's quite nice. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed that video, and I will conjure up something else to make into a video as well, another deck profile that I'm cooking for Arifaretta. Anyway, I hope you have a good day, and God bless. Bye-bye.